Jenny.
KB here.
And today we are going to talk to you all about Caitlyn from the show.
Arcane.
And the fact that she is so hated and underrated, but we think she's awesome. So we gathered actually things that people said about her online.
Yeah.
We're not going to say who said them.
Nope.
But we're just going to say what kind of generally it is that they said about her and what we think. Yeah. So the first one.
So this is a pretty big one that a lot of people apparently seem to agree on. She is only a plot point for Vi. She only exists because of Vi.
First of all, I feel like saying something like that is pretty, demeaning of women, in my opinion.
Agreed.
To be like, you, only exist because of this other person.
Yeah.
And then applying that to a story and being like, you, as a character, only exist to serve this other character.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they're both women, I feel
Yeah.
like it's pretty demeaning. And I feel like that kind of thinking dates way back to the olden times when people believed that women only existed to serve men. It kind of hits a little close to that note, a little bit for me, and I just really don't like it.
And I've said this before, she's so interesting, she could have her own spin-off and I'd watch it, right?
Yeah.
So
she's a huge Caitlyn fan, though. She's like, I just adore Caitlyn. All she wants to do is talk about Caitlyn and look at her all day, probably.
You still want Vi's bust.
She's talking about a statue bust, but probably both. Anyway, let's move on. So what we think about that?
We have some counterpoints.
Yeah, we have some counterpoints. Mm-hmm.
So first of all, she's in all 3 acts, and they also show her from being really young. And one thing that we know that Riot's done very well is that characters that actually are important in the story have some sort of past that we get to see at the start of an episode, aside from Echo, but that's a totally different topic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're making it wobble.
Oh, sorry.
Because your knee is on that.
Okay.
How do you talk like this? Anyway, so yeah, and we see her backstory, before we see her meet Vi. She has her own trajectory. She has her own motivations. She has her own things that she's trying to accomplish, her own goals. Mm-hmm. And she's, in her own way, kind of taking, I don't want to say using Vi, but utilizing Vi's knowledge and skills to help her get what it is that she wants. Get Silco and be able to pin him for all the things that he's doing. So they're both, in a way, kind of using each other, but not in a bad way.
No. I
mean, maybe at first they kind of are, just, using each other. Because she's like, hey, I want your help, Vi. And Vi is like, hey, I want to get out of prison.
Yeah.
So, yeah, in a way they are, but they don't know each other. So that's life. I feel like in all relationships, we kind of use each other to an extent, in one way or another. Anyway, but then I think it grows to be more so utilizing each other's skills and caring for each other as things go along. Yeah. Was there anything else about that?
Well, she does, say she's a misfit.
Yeah. So that's her identity. She has a whole identity and place within their world and their society before she ever meets Vi.
Yeah.
She's her own person.
Yeah, she says it's a Jace. She supposes she's a misfit. And then later on, when we actually see her becoming an enforcer and, she's getting these, just watch this haul for me, or not stuff that's really, dangerous or really meaningful, honestly. She's hanging with the other enforcers and they're all palling around and everything, and there's stuff going on and she's the first one to react.
Yeah.
Right? And also when we got to the part where there was the bust of Shimmer with the firelights, she's the one that's there actually looking. There was so much evidence there that no one else was really paying mind to, and Caitlyn's like, I got my own camera and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna actually make a difference, right?
Yeah.
So she could do that without Vi.
Yeah, she was already doing all of that before she ever met Vi.
Yeah. She's very driven.
Yeah. So the next point that we saw people make was calling her a minor character, which is interesting. I guess people could choose to see her that way if they so choose. However, once again, she's in all 3 acts. I don't think she's a minor character at all.
Not at all.
Also, the fact that they show her backstory.
Yes.
That also, like, they did that for the main characters. I think, like, there's a very fine line in this story of who is a main character and who is a side character.
Yeah, a really good case in point. And, you know, Savika's awesome, but where's her backstory?
That's true.
We don't get to see it.
Yeah, that's true. Caitlyn's backstory is shown and Savika's is not. Yeah, so I definitely think that, and she has a lot of screen time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see her as a main character for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, her motivation is explored. So
yeah, it is.
I feel like that they do that with a lot of the characters. It's not, and we talked about this in the other video, responding to character hate, how it's not so much like, oh, this character is good, we can all root for them, this character is bad. It's the story in general is more realistic in that all of them have their own motivations and they're seeing them through, and we do get to see what Caitlyn's motivation is. She wants to make a difference. She wants to, like Grayson taught her, to use her skills and abilities to make the place they live in a better place.
Exactly.
To protect the city. Yeah.
So another point that a lot of people like to talk about the internet is they like to call her useless.
Yeah. I don't think that she's useless. And let's tell you why.
This is why. She has a lot of strengths. First of all, she's a sharpshooter.
Yeah.
Sharpshooters can't be considered useless.
She's like a next level sharpshooter.
She is, though.
She's just like amazingly incredible.
She's so compassionate. She even hugs, I believe his name was Huck, the guy that we think actually betrayed them, but we don't know for certain. But that's a video for another time.
Okay.
Yeah, she just hugs him, like the Shimmer guy, and she just shows compassion when Vi starts talking about, like, her parents, and then even Echo, you know, she's a very compassionate, and that's, like, a huge strength of hers.
Yeah.
She is definitely intelligent.
What was it that someone said about her? Her, like, wannabe intelligence?
Yeah, they were basically
faux
saying that she had faux intelligence. Faux intelligence, yeah, and I'm just like, what?
I don't think that's true.
You can't be like that, and you have this giant thing on your floor with all these points. If you're not intelligent, you're not gonna come up with this grand plan.
And also, one of the coolest scenes of Caitlyn just, like, doing her thing was when she went onto the scene of the fight that Jinx had against the Firelights early.
Yeah.
You see her visualizing what happened.
So cool.
And really looking around at the clues and knowing what it was that took place there. I was like, it was such an exciting moment for us.
Oh my gosh.
We were like, oh, that's so neat how she has that ability.
Yeah.
Super intelligent.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, I think the main reason people think that she's not intelligent is because she's been sheltered. But it's really amazing to see, in spite of that, what it is that she's been able to learn, accomplish, and become. Her parents wanted her to stay that way.
Yeah.
They wanted her to have a desk job.
Yeah.
They wanted her to be safe. But she chose to go out and learn and try to do something to make their world a better place.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, let's not forget the scene at the tea party when she somehow, we didn't get to see it, got herself out of that binding with a shot of a glass.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Right? That was just like, damn.
Yeah. And then the other thing we wanted to talk about is her, like, conflict negotiation skills. And so for me, who has studied Krav Maga, one of the things that we studied was even, like, hostage negotiation, conflict negotiation, how to de-escalate. And you see her using, this is what police officers do, the FBI uses these skills. And you see her using those techniques when she's talking to Echo. So she's really using, and Vi is like, you're amazing. But she's really using, like, good police training techniques when she's talking to Echo and telling him, you'd be within your right to keep it, but the cycle of violence will continue. And basically what she's doing at that point is she's not making it about her and what it is she wants. She is saying to Echo, here's what your values are. And this is the technique that's used. It's like, here's what you want, here's what your values are. And saying, you want your people to be safe. yes, you want this, but you want your people to be safe more. So she pins down what his values are, and then says, doing what I'm recommending is going to help you get more of what you want. She says, you can keep this, but the cycle of violence will continue. So you want the violence to end, this action will help with that. And that's the same kind of thing that you see, like, even like when you're watching TV shows, you see police officers do this, where like someone's holding a gun, and they're like, you don't want to do this, think about your family. They're trying to get into that person's perspective, think about what that person values, and then talk them down and talk them into taking actions that will align with what it is that's safest and what they think would be best for everyone. So yeah, she's totally awesome. She's nailing it.
Yes.
I thought that scene was really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And the really cool thing about Caitlyn is that, you know, she comes from one of the big houses, but she's not someone that throws that name around like that. She only uses it when, you know, she feels it's right to use it. For instance, when she busts Vi out of prison, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't use her name. She used Jace's.
Oh yeah, she used Jace's. My bad.
Yeah, she used a Talus.
Talus.
House Talus, yeah. But yeah, she uses her power that she does have.
Power, rather.
The power that she has from her family.
Yeah.
In order to do things to help make the world a better place.
Yeah, which is nice. No,
like,
don't do that.
Yeah, like she goes to her mom and says, like, here's what it is. When the mom finds them, that scene where she comes in with a shotgun and she's like,
Caitlyn!
And she wants to talk to her in private and stuff like that. That's great.
Keep her home astray. It's like,
and then she talks to her mom and is like, hey, here's what's going on. And her mom says, yes, we'll give you, we'll let you talk to the council. So she uses the influence that she has from her family to do good, to help people like Vi, who otherwise wouldn't have a voice. She's like lifting people up and giving them a voice.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
Which means she's not useless.
And I saw someone mention that, like, that scene of Caitlyn bringing Vi into the council was so huge.
Yeah.
Because the Undercity has been so, like, underrepresented. So she uses a power she has to really let a different voice be heard.
Yep. And then Vi just goes for it.
Yeah.
And the really awesome thing about Caitlyn, too, is that she's very open-minded, right? So, you know, she's wanted to be an enforcer. Being an enforcer was, like, her dream at that point when she met Grace and whenever that was.
Yeah.
But when Vi starts, like, telling her, you know, this is what the enforcers did, she doesn't just say, oh, that's not right. Yeah. You know, even when she went down to the trenches and she saw all these Shimmerfield people, she felt really, like, you know, bad for them. She wasn't thinking, oh, that's what you should deserve, right? She's just like, oh my gosh, you know?
Yeah.
Which is huge.
Yeah, and she just didn't know.
She didn't know.
Yeah.
So go ahead with the next point. This one's gonna be fun.
Okay, so this is I see a lot of people say this.
Yeah, they do.
Vi chose Caitlyn over Jinx. That's what a lot of people hate on Caitlyn about.
That is one
and
of the
I
big
think
ones.
that if you're a really big Jinx fan, like, I can see why you might have this opinion.
Right.
But you're placing the responsibility of these choices on the wrong person.
Exactly.
So, and I don't hate on Vi for choosing. She did, in a way, choose Caitlyn over Jinx. But I don't hate on Vi for making that choice.
No.
However, it was Vi's choice to make. And this kind of point reminds me of people who are like, this woman is such a homewrecker. She's such an awful person. She tore this family apart.
They called her that
because I could see that.
Yeah.
Because she took this husband away from his wife and kids. And I'm like, I think that you're putting the blame on the wrong person. It's not the other woman's responsibility to keep a man in his marriage. It's his responsibility to choose what action he takes. And I think that that's the same kind of logic being applied here toward Caitlyn. It's Vi's decision what Vi is going to do. Her actions are her responsibility and hers alone. So, even that being said, what does Caitlyn do?
She lets her go at the bridge scene. Not only that, she lets her go twice. She lets her go at the bridge scene, and she lets her go at the breakup scene. Twice! Also, Jinx brought them back together.
And both times you can tell that she really doesn't want to let
she
Vi
doesn't.
go. But she doesn't try to stop her.
She doesn't.
She doesn't make a
either
move.
cases, she does not.
Yeah.
They have that really sweet tug, and then the nuzzle, and then there's the sadness, and then they go their separate ways.
Yeah.
In the rain, it's really depressing and sad, but once again, they go their separate ways.
Mm-hmm.
She's let go of Vi twice. You know? Didn't try to stop her because she's so respectful.
And what were you saying about Jinx?
Oh yeah, Jinx is the one that brought them back together.
Yeah. Like, the interesting thing... I mean... There were a few things that happened at the bridge scene. So first, they hug super intimately. They nestle each other like they don't want to be parted. And then the thing that brings Vi back is really Marcus. So Marcus aims the gun at Caitlyn, and then Vi realizes that this is happening, is afraid for Caitlyn's safety, and then comes back, and then runs at her. But it was Jinx who injured Caitlyn.
Yep.
Yeah, Vi was gonna leave. First, Marcus threatens her, so she goes to try and save Caitlyn, and then Jinx. So it's kind of both of their... It's kind of a dual cause to the effect.
The gunshot was when Jinx shot the enforcer. She had a gun. Remember, she had no emotion and she shot.
I'm not sure which came first, but I think both Marcus... I mean, Caitlyn was in danger from Marcus.
Yeah,
that was her... The fact that Caitlyn was in danger, she was in danger from Marcus, and in danger... She started running back before, though. So...
Yeah, she heard the gunshot.
She heard a gunshot, and then she started running back, and then that's when the firelights came through.
Yeah. And
then after that is when Jinx came.
Okay.
That's the order. So it was kind of both things. First, her being threatened.
Yep.
Caitlyn being threatened, which was not Caitlyn's fault.
Nope.
It was Marcus's fault.
Yep.
He threatened Caitlyn.
He did.
That was the first thing that made Vi come back.
Yeah.
What made Vi stay to take care of Caitlyn was the fact that she got injured
by Jinx.
Which we don't know. Maybe Marcus would have shot Caitlyn. Maybe he wouldn't have been able to go through. We can't really say one way or the other what actually would have happened with that. But it's kind of a dual fault that Vi ended up leaving with Caitlyn. Here's the thing, though. Vi could tell Jinx was unhinged.
Yep.
And that Caitlyn was trying to do good for the world.
Right.
By that point.
Yeah.
So Vi makes this decision based on her own reasons.
Right.
It's not because Caitlyn told her to.
No, it's not, because then if you think about it, Jinx also got them back together twice.
Then the second time. Yeah.
Yeah, and then, you know, so...
The second... Do you want to share what that was?
The second one was at the tea party.
Yeah.
You know, so essentially, she Jinx snaps Caitlyn first, and then she Jinx snaps Vi second.
After the breakup scene.
After the breakup scene.
Yeah.
And then they're already, like they're together again.
Mm-hmm.
And basically...
Yeah.
You know.
They end up being around each other again because of that.
And once again, though, Caitlyn let her go twice.
Which we think that they would have gotten back together.
I feel like
anyway,
they would have too, but
that's a story for another video, which we've made and you can watch.
But honestly, I think it's so interesting because you do have this one person that wants these two to be a pat.
Yeah.
And yet, twice they were let go and twice they were brought back together.
Yeah. I definitely see that kind of thing happening, though, a lot of times when people have a fear, like, they end up bringing that fear about themselves. Like, it's in all kinds of ways, you know? Like, if, like, let's say that I have a fear of being tickled. Like, and I talk all the time about, like, oh my gosh, I'm so afraid of being tickled. Like, no one would think to tickle me.
Right.
On a like, very seldom would someone think to tickle you on a regular basis.
Right.
But then when you talk about being tickled all the time, someone starts to think, oh, Jenni, tickle. Jenni, tickle. Oh, it's going to bother her if I tickle her. I can get a rise out of her by tickling her. And so then that happens. So I think that, I mean, people call it the law of attraction, whatever you will.
Yeah.
The more that you think about something and talk about it and give it your energy, oftentimes the more it ends up happening in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes. So, yeah. in general, we want to give Caitlyn some love. We both really like her.
We do.
And what's the reason why we like her?
We like her because she's a hot badass and she's not showy about it.
Yeah. She's just, like, very much someone who is, like, really talented, can, like, shoot a gun like nobody's business, chooses to get in there and try to make a difference and try to make the world a better place. But she's not, like, she doesn't have ego about it.
No, she doesn't.
She's just like, hey, I'm just trying to do what's best for everyone. I'm just gonna take action and not, like, make a big deal out of it. And I think that's just really rare and super awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like a Charlie's Angel. Don't
Yeah,
you think
she is like
bit?
a Charlie's Angel.
Even though she's not in the beginning so good at disguise. But I think Vi is gonna help her with that.
She also, too, I know it's been a while since we watched it, but I can definitely see Asami from Korra in her, too. Because Asami is also one of those, she comes from, like, a privileged life, but instead of, like, you know, having a desk job or anything like that, she wants to make a difference, you know? So. And I really like Asami, too.
Yay! Yeah. So, thanks you all so much for watching, and if there's anything that you love about Caitlyn, we'd love to hear about it.
Yes, let's show Cupcake some love.
Yeah, so leave a comment below. Let us know what you love about her. Look forward to connecting with you all again soon. Sending you so much love. Till next time.
Laters!